Hey, good morning, everybody. Welcome to another edition of Marilyn's Cafe Society on YouTube. Today is Saturday, May 11th, 2019. Yes, we are slowly getting there in terms of weather and spring-like temperatures. Slowly. We're experiencing the 60s here in the Chicagoland area, and I'm enjoying it because, sooner or later we'll be complaining about how hot it is. So moving on. Anyway, it's the Mother's Day weekend, so of course we want to say Happy Mother's Day to all the mothers out there. Enjoy it. Yeah, and spread love, everybody. Shower love on your mother. And of course, anyone who's ever played the role of mother in your life. It's also May, the month of May, my favorite month because it's my birth month. All right, well, listen, I just wanted to do a quick pop in because, my life on weekends have been getting busy lately, but I do this show because I love doing it and I wanted to get it done before my busy day starts. So let's go ahead and jump right into on this day in history, and it's good too. On this day in history in 1949, the first Polaroid camera sold for $89.95 in New York. Now, the company itself was founded back in 1937 by Edwin Land, who was known as the father of instant photography. Now, although Kodak had been around longer than Polaroid, excuse me, they became customers of Polaroid for the instant photography process. And of course, when Kodak announced its first instant film camera in 1976, Polaroid sued them. And it was because they believed that they had infringed on their patent for the instant film process. And guess what? Polaroid won. So go figure. But anyway, that's just some history in terms of the Polaroid camera, which, at some point in history was just as popular as Kodak. All right. Also on this day in history in 1981, the Andrew Lloyd Webber musical Cats, which was based on the T.S. Eliot poems, premiered in London. Of course, I got a chance to catch Cats. They came to Chicago in the early 2000s, I believe, at the Auditorium Theater. And from what I've read, they're coming back to Chicago this summer for a limited engagement, July 16th through August 4th at the Oriental Theater as part of the Broadway in Chicago summer season. So from what I understand, subscriptions went on sale last fall. So there may still be some tickets available or maybe not. It's a pretty hot show. And I truly loved it. It was very interesting to see, those actors and actresses kind of behave like cats on stage. But anyway, let's continue on. In 2009, the price of the United States first class stamp rose 2 cents to 44 cents. Yeah, I remember reporting on this on the show. Folks were griping about how the price of stamps continues to rise. And guess what? Today's price is 55 cents. And I did some research to see what it was the year I was born. It cost just 4 cents to purchase a United States postal stamp. So, inflation, right? All right. Well, let's get into some cafe business news. And I'm going to focus on the retail apocalypse. It continues, folks. Yeah, it continues. Now, the latest news came on Thursday when Party City announced that it will close 45 of its 670 stores this year. Now, James Harrison, who is the CEO of the company, said that normally the company usually closes 10 to 15 stores each year as of late, since this whole retail apocalypse has been starting. But he also stated that the increase in closings have nothing to do with the global helium issue. They did not release a list of the affected stores, but indicated that closures will take place throughout the year. And some local news outlets have been reporting closings so far in the state of California, Illinois, Connecticut, and Washington. So stay tuned on those closings. Let's just backtrack a bit and find out what's the word on helium. First things first, helium is an element of the periodic table and is considered an inert gas. It's non-toxic, it's non-flammable, and is used in several industries because it is the element, it has that element with the lowest boiling points. So the medical industry and the aerospace industries and other crucial industries use it and get priority. But the party industry caught on maybe 15, 20 years ago and learned about helium, you know, how fast it you know, you can get the balloons blown up and all of that. So, you know, they've become big consumers of helium. And, you know, the industry is not considering the party people who want the helium for balloons as not important. Nevertheless, consumers are willing to pay up the gazoo for the helium for their balloons, because after all, what is a party without a balloon? You know, it's again easier than recruiting 10 to 15 kids and adults to blow up 100 balloons or so. You know, back in the old day, that's what we used to do. People sit on the floor, sit around, and just use our breath to blow up the balloons. Of course, they didn't rise to the occasion as helium-filled balloons do, but that's what we did. And, you know, it's become popular. And like I said, it's quick, it's fast, and people like that float factor that the helium gives them. And just as an aside, Party City is encouraging customers to use balloon arches and walls that don't need helium, just tape, which kind of take us back to the old days. You know, you've seen those balloon arches though, right? They are really, really nice and magnificent. And even just, you know, at your venue or home or wherever you do your party, just, you know, taping loads of balloons to a wall could look pretty spectacular as well. But they're also, just, you know, to keep people coming to the store to get their balloons filled, they are also selling nitrogen and air-filled organic shaped balloons. Haven't seen that yet. Maybe I'll pop into the Party City in our area to see if they have a display of that somewhere. Now, a big reason for this so-called helium shortage is that, and this is according to gas trade publication gasworld.com, they're saying that about 75% of all the helium comes from just 3 places. And the first one is the Ras Laffan Industrial City in Qatar, ExxonMobil in Wyoming, and the National Helium Reserve in Texas. And the Texas reserves are the ones that are really being depleted because of the growing demand for helium over the years. Now, listen, I don't believe there's a shortage at all. As I just read, the demand is growing rapidly, and so you know, it's faster than these suppliers can keep up with. And so it's driving up the prices. And of course, it's a price that many party stores, suppliers of helium, are not willing to pay, which is why people have to run around like chickens with their heads cut off to find a place to that sells helium to get these balloons. So, you know, I know that, you know, if you have been keeping up with my blog, I share the Abundance blog. You know, this world is filled with everything we need, more than enough. we don't run out of things. Again, it's just that, the demand here in the United States has increased drastically. And so, again, as I just said, some of these party stores who used to fill up balloons just don't want to bite the bullet and pay for the helium. But, we always find other alternatives, as Party City has done with the nitrogen and this other air-filled technique that they're using for the balloons. Now, let's see. So the helium situation is one thing when it comes to balloons, but there is that whole environmental issue that has come to light. I remember, oh boy, this is going back maybe, what's this, 2019, maybe 5 or 6 years ago. I had a segment on the show when I was on the radio, and a young lady in the community wanted to do a balloon release in memory of for mothers or parents who lost children. And so we did it there at the radio station. And I think I was on social media talking about it. And I got a little flack from some of the environmentalists because, they're concerned about the latex. And, we release the balloons in the air. They float off to somewhere else and end up bursting, and the wildlife think it's food and they eat it, and so it's a great concern. And I'm not sure how we're going to deal with that, but I do know that there are some states who are working to limit or have already limited how many balloons can actually be released into the heavens, the skies. And there have been pushes for folks to do the tethered releases where you just get the long string or ribbon and do the beautiful release of the balloons, but you have the string tethered to your wrist, or you hold on to it, and once it goes so high, you pull it back, pop the balloon, and then dispose of it in a safe and environmentally friendly way. So we could that's a whole nother topic that we can get into, but I just wanted to mention that is another concern that folks have about the whole balloon industry and use of balloons. All right, so let's get back to the retail apocalypse. In 2018, CoreSite tracked 5,528 closings, which included all of the Toys R Us locations, plus hundreds of Mattress Firm stores, Kmart and Sears locations, Carson Pirie Scott, and Brookstone's remaining mall stores. And there were some others. Now, listen to this. So far, as of 2019, JCPenney's has announced some closings. CVS Pharmacies, Payless, and Victoria's Secrets are just some of the brands that have announced that they will be doing some closings this year, including Party City. As I shared earlier in one of the other business segments that I did on the YouTube show, I think that our retailers are jumping the gun because, and I talk about this to people when I see them sometimes in the mall, and there's like, where is everyone? No one's in the mall. This online thing, but I think that, or I, try to recall and remind folks that, in the 50s and 60s, catalog, in the 70s even, catalogs were big business. Folks sat at home, sipped on their coffee and tea, and looked through the catalog and placed their orders via phone, or they filled out the form in the catalog and mailed it in, and patiently waited a week or two, and in some cases longer, for the merchandise, for the pickup call or letter or whatever, and they would go into the store to pick up, or it would actually be delivered to the house. And it was big business, but in the 70s and certainly by the 80s, it started to fizzle and dwindle. And so, folks started getting back out into the stores and to the mall to do their shopping. So, when you think about this online shopping, it's kind of similar, right? You sit at your computer or your phone, and you can swipe a couple times, tap a couple buttons, and order what you want, have it delivered to the store, or have it delivered to your home. Now, I again think that it's going to phase out, every generation brings about new consumer habits and patterns. And so I think that, perhaps they feel that they have no other option but to, start closing stores or shutting down completely. But, I predict that in the next 10, 15 years, folks getting back out, maybe even sooner, 5, 10, 15 years, folks getting back out into the stores will be the thing to do. I think they'll get tired of, looking at their phones and computers or sitting around the house shopping off a screen, and they'll be headed back to the stores. So we'll just continue to watch this and see how things get. Unfortunately, I do not have the stock market reports to share with you this week, so we'll definitely pick up next Saturday. I believe next Saturday things will be a bit slower, and I'll bring the show to you as I normally do. But I do want to talk about, do I look tired and sleepy? I was up, while I was prepping and pulling the show together last night. I was trying to watch this semifinal, the Western Conference semifinal NBA game. Of course, Houston versus Golden State. Man, was that a good game. Not only did I watch the game, and usually I'll stay tuned, for post-game talk. The guys, whether it's TNT, ABC, or ESPN, the guys talk a whole lot of stuff after the game, and I like to hear, some of their comments and all of that. And last night I stayed up and watched that, and I'm so tired. But anyway, the game was so good. I've been trying to catch all of the games in this series, the Golden State and Houston series, because Houston has been trying for a couple years now to clinch that Western Conference, and it's been challenging. And of course, Game 6 last night, Golden State and that Stephen Curry sealed the deal. They will be sitting back waiting to see who will win this Denver versus Portland best of 7 series. They're now tied 3-3. So Game 7 is going to happen maybe tonight. I've failed to check into that, but wouldn't it be interesting to see Stephen Curry and his brother, who I believe is with Portland? I just found this out, that he has a brother in the NBA. But anyway, wouldn't it be interesting to see them battle it out for the Western Conference title? I can't wait. I can't wait to see what happens. Now, in the Eastern Conference semifinals, Milwaukee beat Boston 4-1, somewhat of a sweep. And we're still waiting to see what's going to happen with Toronto and Philadelphia. I believe they're tied 3 games apiece. So they're going to be playing Game 7 as well. This is going to be so good. So here we are, back to, when one team is dominating for numerous years. Like, for example, if Golden State goes to the finals, this will be the 5th year in a row for them. Sort of like the Chicago Bulls when they had that run many moons ago. What was it, 6 years in a row? When it's not your team doing all the winning, people get tired and start complaining. But, if you love the game, you love the game. And I do. And I don't care at this point. I was a bit torn between Houston and Golden State. And I think I shared with you the reason that my heart kind of leans toward Golden State. One of the reasons is because Steve Kerr is the coach. And you guys know that Steve Kerr was a Chicago Bull for many years. And so even though I'm on the East, I'm an Eastern Conference girl, I, have a little soft spot in my heart for Golden State. And KD went there. So, oh, by the way, he was out injured in Game 6. Will he be okay for this next round? The conference finals? We'll have to wait and see. And then there's that big possibility of him making a move over the summer to another team. I don't think it's going to happen. I think he's going to stay put with Golden State. Hey, they made that big win without him, though. All right. And then hats off to James Harden and all the Tucker kid and all the rest of those guys from Houston. They fought to the end. They just made a lot of turnovers, and I think maybe that last quarter, the last 2 minutes, was it the last 3 minutes, last 4 minutes of the final quarter, things turned around. Houston was really winning, but things turned around, and I think it may have kind of thrown them off a bit. I'm not sure, but they fought as hard as they could, and of course another stellar team. It'll be interesting to see if they're going to take their place in the conference finals next year, and if they do, they certainly deserve it. All right, so that's what I did last night, in addition to prepping for this show. And I'm gonna have some coffee and try to wake up and get my day started. I did stumble upon this story in terms of TV, and May is the month in television where a lot of networks decide what shows will come back in the fall and which ones will not. And so here's a few from NBC. Shows that have been canceled: I Feel Bad, Marilyn, Midnight Texas, Reverie, Trial and Error, and I heard that the Steve Harvey talk show is not gonna be coming back. He's supposed to be, however, exploring the possibilities of doing what I'm doing, YouTubing, Facebooking, taking his show to the internet. So we'll see what happens there. And then, of course, CBS has canceled The Big Bang Theory, Elementary, Fam, Happy Together, Life in Pieces, Murphy Brown, and Salvation. And so far, ABC has canceled For the People, The Fix, The Kids Are All Right, Splitting Up Together, Speechless, and Take Two. And Fox has canceled The Cool Kids, The Gifted, Gotham, Lethal Weapon, The Passage, Rel, and Star. Wow. Yeah. The CW canceled Crazy Ex-Girlfriend, Jane the Virgin, and I, Zombie. So that's just, this first round of cancellations. I believe before the month ends, they'll, each individual network will have some announcements of other shows, but that's as of May 10th what was happening in terms of television, and some of your shows that you may have been enjoying that won't be returning in the fall. All right, and then speaking of talk show hosts, what was I going to talk about? Oh, Wendy Williams. I like to support the women on television, and I'll catch The View when I can, I'll catch The Talk when I can, and of course Wendy, and she I get some of my entertainment scoop from Wendy, by the way, but she was chiming in, I guess, on Steph Curry's wife, who appeared, I think it was at the Red Table with Jada Pinkett and her mom and daughter. and she shared, about the challenges that she has with being the wife of an NBA star, and how disrespectful some women can be to their marriage. And of course, women, she received a lot of flack for opening up and sharing that. Some people were saying that she should just be happy that she's living this beautiful life, and you should have known or expected all of that. But how dare they, right? How dare you say that? It doesn't matter if you have a 5-figure man, a 6-figure man or woman, a 7-figure, 9-figure, or $1 billion spouse. No one should be infringing on your marriage. Family and marriage is God's perfect love idea, and no man should or woman should be trying to put it asunder. So Wendy was reporting on Aisha Curry's talk at the Red Table, and just kind of put it out there, her disgust with the notion of women and men who infringe on other folks' marriages. And so we all have heard that she's in the middle of a divorce, and I'm sure it's quite painful. So kudos to her for even being able to put on her face and get out there every day and do her show and make us laugh and do what she does in the middle of going through this. I know divorce is painful. No matter what the circumstances are, it's a painful thing. No one wants their family broken up or torn apart. But in some cases your hand is forced. What are you going to do? So strength to all the ladies out there who may be experiencing breakups and divorces, and families being torn apart. And just stay strong and encouraged, and we're sending lots of women who support other women, are sending lots of positive vibes and hugs and love your way. All right, we get it, we understand. So, and for those who want to stick in there, yes, fight for your family. I'm not saying Wendy didn't, she did. We all know she spoke highly of her husband over the years, despite the talk and the rumors, and expressed nothing but love for him. But again, sometimes it just doesn't end well. And so again, if you have not gotten to that point of the breakup or the divorce, fight for it. It's a beautiful thing when you have your family together, and everyone's under one roof, and you're living life and having those family experiences. It's a beautiful thing. So fight for it. And when you have to throw in the towel after you've exhausted every possible option, yeah, do that. Just life goes on, and you'll be fine. And everyone else, what's the scripture? All things work together for good for those who love the Lord. So it'll all work out for the good. Okay. All right. I think that's it, everybody. I'm going to continue to just enjoy the month of May. We'll be back next week, as we usually are, with more of the show. I do want to encourage you to go to the social media, Twitter, Marilyn's Cafe Social. I think it's unfair for you guys to go to my social, because I see the numbers. You're visiting, you're going, you're looking, but you're not friending, you're not following, you're not subscribing, you're not doing any of those things. So please do like, subscribe, follow, all of that good stuff. Friend. You'll find me on Marilyn's Cafe Social on Twitter, Marilyn's Cafe Society on Facebook, Marilyn's Cafe Society.com, and of course the YouTube channel. Someone asked why aren't we live on YouTube anymore? YouTube has instituted a new rule. You gotta have 1,000 subscribers. 1,000 subscribers before you can go live. So, yeah, help me out in that. All right. All right. What else? Love is. Love is mothers. What else could it be? Love is mothers. Happy Mother's Day once again. To all the mothers out there and those who play the role of mother. Happy Mother's Day. Enjoy it. And keep this in mind. Every day is Mother's Day. All right, everyone. If you don't do anything else this week, remember to live, to laugh, and to love. And as always, it's been a pleasure and a privilege. And we'll hang out again next week right here on YouTube. Remember, the blog, I'm going to work on it tonight. I know, it's been crazy. Usually by midweek I have it up, but I'll get it up by tonight, no later than tomorrow. And still working on that next karaoke moment. Yes, I'll be dropping another musical video very soon. All right, peace everybody. Take care.